This time, it's a story about a protagonist who saw a scene that's too extreme and sank his girlfriend and her insane affair partner. Take your time and enjoy. Sorry, just let me vent. I'm a bit tired from all the stuff that's been happening. What's wrong? Go ahead and let it out. Please give me the situation in details. Well, let's start with the details. I'm 26 years old, a company employee. My girlfriend is 24 years old and recently quit her job in preparation for our marriage. The other man is 23 years old, married, and was working at my girlfriend's company on a temporary contract. Something seemed off about my girlfriend lately. The usual overtime, drinking parties, staying out all night, and refusing everything at night saying, "I'm tired." She kept her phone with her at all times, even taking it to the shower room and bathroom. Still, we went through with the marriage greeting at her parents' house as planned. And we were supposed to officially tie the knot once work settled down. I became anxious, but I convinced myself it was just my imagination. Or rather, I wanted to believe in my girlfriend. However, after officially greeting her parents and retiring from her job, my girlfriend's behavior got worse and worse. She would say the drinking party ran late because they got too excited and stayed over at her friend's house. She wanted to go on trips with her friends before getting married, like girls' trips and whatnot, of course staying overnight. Now that I think about it, I believe she became overconfident after securing the promise of marriage. Sometimes when she came home, it was clear she had just taken a shower, and other times the bed smelled like another man. For the time being, I made up a business trip to the countryside and told her I would be away from home for 3 days. Of course, I gave her the contact information for the hotel and such. But I told her we should communicate by email since it would be a long-distance call. Your work seems tough. Take it easy. My girlfriend showed an unusually lovely smile, pretending to care for me. However, I had carefully planned this scheme about a month before and made all the necessary preparations. I took paid leave and rented a short-stay apartment where I could barely see the entrance of our house. Binoculars, video camera, digital camera, chair, and instant noodles were all ready. I had suspected her of cheating and tried to ask her about it several times before, but I always lost to my girlfriend, who would cry and say, "I can't be with someone who doesn't trust me. It's awful that you suspect me." It felt empty to go this far because I couldn't believe her words. It might turn into a long stakeout, and maybe I was mistaken about her bringing a man home. I thought, but on the first day, she did it right away. A stranger visiting in broad daylight, and my girlfriend greeting him with a smile. About an hour after the man arrived, I quietly unlocked the door and peeked inside, hearing moaning sounds. Was it porn? I thought, but it was unmistakably my girlfriend's voice. I slowly entered the living room to see the other man slurping at my girlfriend's crotch, which was facing upward, making wet sounds. I took a bunch of photos with the digital camera set to continuous shooting mode. The other man turned around with a start, and my girlfriend had a shocked expression between her legs that she was holding open with her own hands. I noticed she had a vibrator in her ass, and it was clearly captured in the photos. As the two were stunned, I said, okay, sorry to interrupt. Got some good photos and tried to leave, but the man, coming to his senses, tried to grab me while still naked, so I kicked him in the face out of anger. The man fell over, holding his face, and mumbled, "Ugh, My girlfriend was trembling. I said to her, "Hey, let's have a proper talk later. It's not what it looks like." "Wait. It's all a misunderstanding," she said cryptically. "It's not? Were you forced? Then should we go to the police and have this guy arrested?" My girlfriend didn't answer my question and just fidgeted, trying to remove the anal vibrator. It's fine, you like that, don't you? You don't have to take it out. Do whatever you want." "No, I don't like it." "It's not like that." "No, it's fine." "I didn't know you liked putting things in your ass." "I guess I'm not enough for you then." While I was talking to my girlfriend, the man got up and tried to grab me again, so I kicked him hard around the solar plexus. Ow. Ugh. The other man was groaning again. I'm not into martial arts or anything, but I was seriously strown. I replied with one word to my girlfriend, who said, Why? You said you were going on a business trip." "Lie." Then my girlfriend started ranting, "You deceived me." "Liar. Unbelievable. Awful. You tested me, didn't you, or something like that? Yeah, I deceived, lied, and tested you. And now I know everything you've been doing, I said, and my girlfriend went silent. Though she was still irritated. The other man, who had been writhing in pain while holding his stomach, suddenly interrupted with an apology. I'm sorry. I'm seriously super sorry. Please super forgive me. Please seriously stop with the photos, it's super bad. Can I ask you something? You just played her, right? Absolutely yes. We were seriously just super fooling around. Super shut up. Don't mess with someone else's woman for fun, you piece of shit. I kicked him again and stomped on his stomach as he flipped over. While the man was in agony, I took more photos, grabbed their phones, and ran away. I heard my girlfriend's voice from behind. You said you were going on a business trip, but of course. Those naked folks couldn't chase after me, and I safely arrived at my stakeout spot. Now, to check the contents of the phones. My girlfriend's was easily unlocked. Reading the emails made my heart sink. Looking at the photos made me shocked even more. There was a photo of the two of them in the kitchen, and in the background was a microwave oven. It only had a warming function, so I had given it to my girlfriend's younger brother who lived alone. That was half a year ago. I sighed, realizing I hadn't noticed for quite a long time. Unfortunately, I couldn't unlock the man's phone. I had no choice but to somehow calm myself down and wait. After about an hour, the other man came out of the house and I got a clear shot of him. Man, my life was over. I called my best friend and went out drinking, and that time I really bawled my eyes out. The shock is too big. The situation is awful. Even though you were prepared, a vibrator in the ass is. You did well. But after crying as much as I could, I felt clear-headed and swiftly executed the next plan. First, when I contacted my girlfriend's parents, her mother said, my daughter said there was a misunderstanding and she's in trouble. She said she wanted to explain properly but she couldn't get in touch with you. She said it in a somewhat lecturing tone, but I hardly listened. Come to think of it, I needed to call my own parents too. While I was thinking that, my girlfriend's mother, who seemed to have misunderstood something from my silence, said, "Oh, it's fine, I'm sorry. It's good that we could get in touch like this. Could you please contact my daughter?" "No, first I need to talk to you about." No. It's fine, just talk to my daughter first. If you neglect her at a time like this, it'll bother you quite a bit later on. This kind-hearted mother. I felt bad, but I told her everything. At first, she didn't believe me. But I told her that I had evidence and that I had also stepped into that scene, then she cried. I said to my girlfriend's mother, "I'm sorry things turned out this way." Then she sobbed, "It's not your fault." I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. For the time being, I promised to have a proper talk with my girlfriend and hung up the phone. But then reality hit me and I cried so much that I couldn't shed any more tears. But for the time being, I wanted to settle things quickly, so I went to my girlfriend's parents' house that same day. By the way, when I explained the situation to my parents, if you have even the slightest desire to patch things up with that girl, don't ever come back to this house again. My parents were furious when they said that to me. It's fine, I have no intention of cutting ties with my parents to stay with that woman. So, my parents also decided to come to my girlfriend's parents' house. It's no wonder your parents are furious. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. The moment I arrived at my girlfriend's parents' house and opened the front door, my deeply apologetic girlfriend and her parents were there to greet us. My crying girlfriend and her mother, her trembling father, and my visibly tense parents beside them. I calmed everyone down, saying now. And we went inside the house. Then, I started by explaining the situation. Well, I think you've already heard, but my girlfriend cheated on me. I'm officially breaking off the engagement and asking her to move out of the apartment we're living in. I will also be seeking compensation. My girlfriend's family said nothing. Also, I will be seeking compensation from the man involved. So I'd like you to tell me about his identity. I'll return your phone. So please call him right now and have him come over. When I said that and handed my girlfriend her phone, she panicked again. That's not it. Come on, listen to what I have to say. You keep saying it's not what it looks like, but explain to me clearly how it's different. How could you just take my phone like that? I bet you looked inside too. That's an invasion of my privacy. In the middle of my girlfriend's excuse, her father hit her. There's no point in saying that now. Tell us your side of the story. She trembled before her furious father. Thank you, Bob. Here, I tested her. I didn't look inside your phone, you know. You had it locked, right? When I said that, her face brightened a bit, and she started making desperate excuses as if this was her big chance. Well, when I was feeling lonely because you were so busy at work, I got close with the temp guy. And I let him into the house when he came to visit. I wanted to say there's no need to tell him your address just because you got close, but I held back and tried to listen to the rest of the story. It was a moment of weakness, and I was actually really scared at the time. I told him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. Please believe me. I'm begging you. It's so cliché it's laughable. No, more than laughable, it's embarrassing. Oh, is that so? But I saw your phone, and it seemed like you both consented, didn't it? My girlfriend looked dumbfounded. It was too obvious and funny. You're a liar. You did the same thing the other day, didn't you? You're always lying. I was deceived by you again. How can you do that and be okay with it? Yeah, I lied and deceived you. But I'm totally fine with it. I don't have any feelings for you anymore. That's horrible. You're the worst. We're both the worst, aren't we? I found out you're a woman who sleeps with anyone when you're lonely. This is just a little payback from me after being deceived and made a fool of for over a year. At this point, my girlfriend's surprised mother couldn't help but interject to her daughter. What do you mean, a year? My girlfriend, this time trembling under her mother's gaze, said, That's not, it's a misunderstanding. By the way, my parents were just listening to the conversation with scary faces. And since I have a mean streak too, I kept going. It's not? Then are the photos doctored? I can see the microwave I gave to your little brother in them, you know. You must be mistaken. Well then, I asked you this at the time, were you raped? If you were done, let's go to the police. Are you going to give that man a criminal record just to save yourself? If you won't call, I will. No. Anything but that. It's pointless to try to buy time now, so let's get it over and move on. I snatched my girlfriend's phone. In the end, no one commented on the 1 year part, so I guess that means it really was a year. My girlfriend clung to me, sobbing, I want to marry you. Because you're the one I love most. Hearing that, I wanted to run away. All sorts of memories came flooding back, and it was really painful. The reason I got so busy in the first place was all for her sake. Her father was a very scary man, and it was only after I got an advanced certification that he finally gave me permission to marry her. Every night I stayed up studying almost all night. Of course, just getting the certification wasn't enough. And there were all sorts of practical issues to deal with after that. That's why I was definitely busy. But even though it was tough, I worked desperately. Thanks to the certification, my salary increased by 1.5 times, and I remember telling her father, I absolutely won't let your daughter suffer. I had also confided all my feelings to my girlfriend, saying, I'm busy right now for these reasons. But once work settles down, let's go see your father again. Let's show him my sincerity, determination, effort, and the results before we get married, so he can feel at ease. I thought it would be sad for a woman to have a marriage that wasn't blessed by her family. She seemed happy about it too. I loved her that much. You worked so hard for her. It's okay to cry. Yeah, when I talked about it again, we both couldn't stop crying. Am I the one you loved most? Yes. It's obvious. That means there's a second person you love. Ah. I said it bluntly, even though I was crying. Hearing that, my girlfriend wasn't in any state to talk anymore, so I had her father call the man. Well, her father was actually the one crying the most. Her father called him, but he seemed angry about something. This is her father. You can be sued for this. Don't mess around. Ah, I thought this was bad, so I took over. Ah, hello, long time no see. This is her boyfriend from that time. Wait, what do you mean sued? If you do that, I'll sue you right back. It's straight up assault, and my stomach hurts like hell. Ah, yes, go ahead. Anyway, about the main issue, I'll be seeking compensation from you. I'm telling you, this makes no sense. It makes perfect sense that you messed with my girlfriend, doesn't it? I'm her fiancée. You get it, right? I have legal rights. Legal? Huh? What? Is this for real? Well, anyway, just come over. Okay. I could summon the other man. Ah, I painfully realized this guy is an idiot. Until he arrived, I got various information about him from my girlfriend. She seemed to have given up and told me all sorts of things. Tell me everything you know about the other man. He's 22 years old, a part-time worker, and has 2 kids. I think the older one is 5 years old. Oh, so he's married. He's actually a very serious guy. He hasn't even gotten divorced, you know. And how does that make him serious? Because, normally if people get married young, they definitely get divorced. Never mind. What a distinctive set of values. I almost burst out laughing at this. I see, so birds of a feather flock together. It's the best to let idiots hang out with each other. And then the other man arrived. My girlfriend's father stood up energetically, so I hurriedly stopped him. The guy was wearing a t-shirt and low-rise jeans, with messy hair. Her father was crying. It made me a bit uncomfortable too. At the entrance, the other man tried to leave, apologizing. I'm kinda sorry. There's not much I can talk about right now, so. Yep, he's an idiot. The other man was dragged inside by me and was overwhelmed by the tense atmosphere. After looking around, he apologized profusely. I am very sorry. Seems like he can read between the lines. I don't want or expect an apology from you. I'm just breaking up with her, so please take good care of her from now on, I said to the other man. The flustered man said, no. She and I don't have that kind of relationship. Huh? What do you mean, not that kind of relationship? We were seriously just casually fooling around with each other, for real. Fooling around how? She did anal with. Stop. That was so close. If only she hadn't stopped, I could have heard everything from this idiot. My girlfriend seemed enraged and scary. Enough already. So you thought I was for stability, and he was for pleasure, huh? That's not true. It's not like that. I already know. Must be nice to have it so good and enjoy life. That's not. But I have no intention of supporting you. When I said it with a straight face, my girlfriend's eyes widened. You got the advanced certification to marry me, didn't you? Liar. Traitor. Why did I go so far for a woman like you? In sync with my girlfriend's indignant rage, for some reason the other man started getting angry at me too. That's messed up. She was seriously in love with you, man. And then my girlfriend's father, who had been silently listening, finally exploded. Don't screw with me. He must have reached the peak of his anger, because he grabbed the other man, but I didn't bother stopping him since it was a hassle. Then, after he calmed down, I said, well, we'll be getting lawyers involved from now on. For some reason, the other man glared at me. My girlfriend was in a state of confusion, crying and screaming, no. I don't want to break up. Somehow, calmly dealing with it started to feel stupid, and I, who had been calm the whole time, finally snapped. Then why did you cheat on me? And bringing him into my house? Enough with the selfish talk. I'm apologizing, aren't I? This isn't something an apology can fix. You keep saying I this, I that, but could you say that if you considered my feelings? How selfish can you be? That's cruel, why? All these years, all I thought about was marrying you and making you happy. And you're the one who trampled on that. That's not true. What part of it isn't true? You put on a good face, but behind my back you were screwing with this guy, right? Say you don't want to break up one more time, keeping that fact in mind. Ugh, ugh. Well, say it. You're lucky your parents are here for you. If they weren't, I'd kill you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Do you really feel bad about this? No, you don't. You're just thinking, oh no, I got caught. What am I going to do now? I've had enough, I can't take this anymore. Be honest. You're 24, quit your job, have no money, no skills, no certifications. It's hard to find work these days. You pissed off the guy who was going to take care of you. What are you going to do? That's not true. Cut the crap. Did you ever sincerely apologize even once? Did you ever tell the truth? I don't wanna. Lying desperately to cover your own ass. It was only once? It was rape? You were scared? Calling me a liar when you find out there's evidence. Don't make me laugh. Why are you saying that? Playing the poor victim. You're really desperate. Bob, I'm sorry, but please come to my house with me. I'm going to pack up her things. So I want you to take them all back. I still had more I wanted to say, but getting angry started to feel stupid, so I stopped. Her father looked a bit scared seeing me lose it. The other man was sweating. The sides of his t-shirt were damp with sweat. Nice. You could have said even more. She betrayed someone who cared for her this much. What a shame. I said to the trembling man, you can go now. The lawyer will be in touch, so wait patiently. He ran out. She said nothing, blankly sitting down and crying. Her father forcibly dragged her to the car, and we drove to my house. When we got there, her father broke down crying. Please stop, you're going to make me cry too. Anyway, I started packing her things. I realized clothes are pretty heavy. It took about 4 round trips between my house and her parents to somehow finish moving everything. I originally bought the appliances and such, so for now I'm keeping them at my place. I was apologized to over and over while working, and it mentally exhausted me. After seeing her father off, I drank a ton of alcohol again at the short-stay apartment, a drunken mess. I realized drinking alone at times like these is a bad idea. And then the next day, I quickly hired a lawyer. I formally demanded compensation from her. As for the other man, this may sound bad, but his family was the kind that couldn't really be damaged any further. His wife worked as a hostess, left the kids with her parents, and was hardly ever home. When I told her that her husband cheated, she was like, "What? For real?" That pisses me off. But when it came to compensation, huh? Why? That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not paying, no way. Well, this will likely go to court, so about that. I said. To which she replied, seriously. In that case, I want money too then. So I told her, as the wife, you can demand compensation from both your husband and the woman he cheated with. Hearing that, she was overjoyed, really. Awesome. Well, the guy's a part-timer, so I guess this is how it goes. The only asset the man's family had was the luxury car he drove. The lawyer even told me, you should probably give up on this. But when I insisted, that's fine, I still want to sue, he started the process for me. Surprisingly, the man's father was a decent person. He brought his son, with his head shaved, to the law office and deeply apologized. I'm so sorry about my idiot son. Sorry. What kind of apology is that? Do it again, you moron. He smacked his son's head for the half-hearted apology. The man, nearly in tears, finally gave a proper apology, I'm very sorry. His father boldly put a stack of bills on the table, the full amount of the compensation, and left. With such a strong father, how did he end up so lacking in common sense? Well, at least it's settled now. A few days later, when I left the short-stay apartment and returned home, she had the nerve to be in my house. The moment our eyes met, she said, I'm sorry. Please give me another chance. So I told her, go home. But she ignored me. Without me even asking, she rambled on, I did something I shouldn't have. I know I hurt you deeply. I'm truly sorry, please forgive me. Why him? I asked. To which she replied, because I knew he was on a much lower level than you, and that I'd never fall for him. Hearing that, I lost it again. It was milder this time though. You were fucked anal by that low-level guy you don't even like, and you're blaming it all on me. I can't deal with this. It's not your fault. Ha? You said you did it because you were lonely. I can't live my whole life with a slut who sleeps with other men just because of the loneliness. Saying it like that. Just looking at your face reminds me of that time. Honestly, even breathing the same air as you is painful. This is the first time in my life I've hated someone this much. Yep, she bawled. She wouldn't leave when I told her to, so I decided to call her father to come get her. About 30 minutes later, he arrived. I took back the spare key I had given her too. As she left, she asked me tearfully, "Will you really never forgive me?" So I said, "Yeah, no way. Sounds like that guy's getting divorced too, so good for you. Why don't you marry him?" She was devastated. I haven't heard from her since, and I moved. I replaced all the furniture and appliances at my house. For the time being, I did everything I needed to do. It took time, but I somehow feel refreshed. Also, I heard through the lawyer that she was sued for compensation by the man's wife too. She paid me in full at once, but it was from her father's account. I don't know how she paid the compensation to the man's wife. My parents are bringing up some arranged marriage meetings, but I can't trust women anymore. For a while, I'm going to focus on work by myself in this empty state. Thanks for putting up with my ridiculous story. Good work. Must be exhausting getting jerked around by those two idiots. You're still young, so there's no need to rush. They're probably together by now. Well, just forget about her. That's for the best. And it is the story of a foolish girlfriend and her insane fling with the protagonist, who was struck by lightning and met an unfortunate end.